Thanks for that introduction there, Joe, and thanks for having us as well. Thanks also for the opportunity to talk about Gladiator Metals and its exploration for high-grade brownfields copper in the Whitehorse district. So the project is a previously producing high-grade copper project. It produced between 1967 and 1982. Hud Bay was mining there in that period. And after that period, the ground position broke up and has been slowly put together over the past 40 years. And Gladiator is actually the first company to be exploring the full land position since that time. The project's located just outside of Whitehorse, the town of Whitehorse, and it covers about 35 kilometers of strike around the margin of the Whitehorse batholith. As I mentioned, Gladiator is exploring for near-term high-grade resources. We inherited quite a large drill database from previous explorers, although that was in paper format, and we've been putting that together into modern 3D setting. We're well funded for the next 15,000 meters. We've received permitting for all of that as well, and we enjoy strong support from the Yukon government and First Nations as well. We also have a strong management team with Sean Kunkun, who's the CEO of Dolly Varden, on the board, along with Darren Devine, who's one of the founders of K92, and an experienced team of geologists and operators who are based in the Whitehorse district as well. We're fairly new in our stories. This is the first time we're here, as Joe said. We've got 41 million shares outstanding, roughly. Current share price is 41 cents, so giving us a market cap just over 16 million. We've got $6.5 million in the bank at the moment, so well funded to prosecute our exploration programs. Our largest individual shareholders are the Coyne family, who are the project vendors, and also of local First Nations heritage, and run Kluane Drilling as well, which is an international drilling company. As I mentioned, we're located just outside of Whitehorse, down in the south of the Yukon. And the advantages to that is that it really helps us minimize our exploration costs. As a previously mined district, it has road access throughout, and we've got good access from the highway as well, and grid hydropower on our doorstep. This means that everyone can go home at the end of the day, which means we can keep our exploration costs down very low, squeezing every exploration dollar. Our drill costs are generally below 220 per meter, and that's all in every cost up to salaries as well. We've been putting together the historical data sets, and what we've defined is 5 lead project areas located over the southern 15 kilometers of the Whitehorse Copper Belt. And these are areas that have near-term resource potential, so mineralization, significant economic drill intercepts from surface, unmined, and in some areas they were drilled to reserve status by Hud Bay before we took over the project. So we're not having to find these areas, they're already defined somewhat. What we're trying to put on is put roughly 10,000 meters of diamond drilling into each target area this year. And that is to confirm the mineralization that was already drilled by previous explorers, but also to indicate the resource upside of each area as well. Our internal target is that we would define 100 million tons at previously mined grades, which was 1.5% copper, through these 5 areas. Obviously, we won't get there with this budget, but what we're hoping is that we'll have line of sight on that deposit size by the end of this year. We've just finished drilling at Cowley Park down in the southeast of the project area, and we're currently drilling and permitted for Little Chief, where we've got 10,000 meters going in at the moment, and the Arctic Chief Trend as well, which is fully permitted for another 10,000 meters, and we expect to be drilling on the Cub Trend as well in the next couple of months. Our lead project, Cowley Park, which is the first one we got drilling on, we've got about 700 meters of defined mineralization with significant near-surface copper intervals from historic work. That historic work only assayed for copper, and that's despite the previously producing mine getting significant credits from gold, moly, and silver as well. And we're finding roughly that we get about a 30–40% upgrade in copper equivalent grade from these as we've been drilling in the area. Our work here has been focused on infilling the strike extent. We've just completed 8,000 meters of drilling, which has recently been announced, and we're seeing continuity of that mineralization throughout that strike length. So the next stage for this project, we're doing extensive geophysics through the form of drone magnetics and ground-based EM programs, and that'll be defining the exploration potential along strike and basically the potential multiples when we come back to this area for drilling. What that looks like in section, it's a sort of basin-shaped mineralization. The deepest part of the model is currently about 170 meters below surface, and as you can imagine, that's probably going to optimize pretty well into an open pit shape when we finally get around to drilling this out for resources. We've also been discovering new zones of mineralization in the footwall, which are completely unexplored along strike as well. The next area we're working on is the area of most significant historical production. The Little Chief deposit produced 8.5 million tons at 1.5% copper and almost a gram a ton gold from both open pit and underground. When Hudbay left this project, they drilled out the Middle Chief area, but actually it was never mined. So we're currently drilling around that. And these are some of the unmined drill intercepts, so 49 meters at 3%, 54 at 2, which still exist in that area. I think another key observation is this is the long section. It shows the sum of all drilling. As you can see, drilling was very much focused on production areas, with the Middle Chief deposit discovered quite late in the story from the underground infrastructure. As a result, there's no drilling really up to surface above that. That's despite some significant drill intercepts from the limited drilling that there is. And the panel above the main mining area as well is also undrilled. So our 10,000 meters, which we're currently permitted for and drilling in this area, is focused on confirming the potential of the Middle Chief area, but also starting to test strike potential and up-dip potential for this target, as well as some recent magnetic anomalies which we've defined through drone magnetics. The third target area, which is also permitted for 10,000 meters, is the Arctic Chief trend. This is about a 2.5 kilometer trend of sporadic drilling and workings. But exploration historically was really very much focused on drilling around outcrops, so known areas of mineralization. These are residual significant intercepts, very shallow, which are also unmined from this trend. But I think what we're really excited about is putting 10,000 meters to define the continuity that we see between each of these worked areas in the past. And that continuity has been defined by mapping over the summer, but also currently working on drone magnetics as well. We're also excited to look at the gold potential. We've been seeing a lot of gold associated with the copper, but it was never assayed for in any of the historical drilling. Finally, just like to talk about the Cub trend, which is another one of these 5 priority areas with near-term resource potential. This was actually mined by 2 small pits, historically by Hudbay. They drilled out a deposit called Gem, which was pre-stripped, was never mined. But I think what we're excited about is the potential where these areas dip under cover, where there's been no drilling along strike. And we're seeing good continuity in the drone magnetics and undrilled high mag targets, which we'll be putting drilling into this year as well. And that's also in an advanced stage of permitting. So in terms of what this year looks like for Gladiator, we've currently got 10,000 meters, which we're drilling at Middle Chief, which we should do in the next 2–3 months. We're fully permitted for Arctic Chief drilling as well for another 10,000 meters. We've also in an advanced stage of permitting for the Club trend, which will also be between 5,000 and 10,000 meters drilled there as well. So continuously drilling throughout the year, and where we hope to be at the end of that is to have 5 target areas, all with near-term resource potential proved by drilling, some knowledge of the credits, and then we can rank those relative to one another in terms of which ones we wish to convert to resources first. and that'll be taking into account, obviously, the grade and the size and how close to surface they are and the limits on exploration costs for conversion. Thank you very much.